We've got this one back in. Now, this car is getting quite a lot of attention. YouTube is doing quite a few shows and bits and pieces. And obviously we put a system in here. And it does look nice, don't get me wrong, but because this is getting quite showy, I think I'm gonna do him something special. Right, so we've got the car and we are heading back to the shop, and obviously we are gonna be doing the fun install that I was talking about in the other video. It's got to be ported, we're gonna have some low frequency tuning. I'm not going to get to the point of accurate tuning in this because it's, for starters, we've got 400 watt RMS, which is a nice amount of power, but it's not world beating energy and things like that for really low SPLs. So this is going to be a bit of a hybrid. It's going to look like a show setup, i.e. a lot more detail and attention than normal, but it is still a personal audio system. So it's still for Ant to sit here and enjoy his bass. And then when he does his shows, he can pop his boot open. It looks more impressive. We won't be setting any volume levels or any sort of world records with this one, but we can certainly make it sound like it needs to. I had a quick chat with him, the design and things like that. I'll show you when we get back to the shop a few little sketches I've done, but nothing that I'm actually going to be working to regards to the accuracy point of view. But just get a feel for how it looks, sort of thing. It's fun when you get to build it from scratch because you build it how you want, and obviously personal taste comes into it. I think I have good taste. I don't know. I've never known any other taste apart from my own because it's what I stick to. So driving along on my Toyota Supra. Really nice to drive, guys. Obviously driven a few cars in my time. It's a 510 brake, I think, at the moment. We've got the setting on it, and I've driven these stock, and this one does feel different, and I had a word with Ant about it, and it is literally just the steering geometry and the suspension geometry. When it was first put in, there was really offset rear toe angles and things, and I think Geo by Luke has done a really good job. I won't show you going mental in now because, to be honest, there's a lot of people about and it's not my car to go mental in, although Ant, I'm sure, wouldn't mind if I drive it like a nutter. But Luke's done really good on the geometry on this. I'm guessing that's where Geo by Luke comes from Geometry by Luke, looking at his Instagram and things. He does a lot of track day setups and that, but to be honest, really planted on this. I can see why you can have so much fun in it. It's lovely. But anyway, I'm gonna continue to concentrate and drive like a serious grown up, and I'll see you back at the shop. I don't think I'll do a step-by-step build guide on this. I've only got 3 days to do it in, and I don't want to spend all of my time filming and editing and making sure I get the lighting right and all the other bits and pieces. So a lot of it will be sort of step-by-step as we go along. And obviously if you want to actually see the build and hear the build, you'll have to track down the car. So it'll be quite obvious because it will look like this. But right, anyway, that's all you're getting for the moment. I'm back at the shop now, so let me go and get it in the workshop and we can start the process. All right, and there we go, guys. Back in the workshop. So, plan of action, obviously we're going to strip this one down first, got to disconnect everything, take the power cables out, disconnect all the RCAs, all the other bits and pieces. But yeah, looking at it, so I've had a word with the customer. We can't come in any height we want up in here. He does want to be able to see over the top of it, see through his rear view. So we're going to have to find the level between the mirror and where the tailgate sort of glass ends, and we'll stick to that. But we're going to bring this one up. I think I'm going to scope these further down the side here. It's going to come up, scope. We call it almost like a volcano setup where your single sub is the most highest point and everything sort of filters off down from it. So the sub box will be up around here in theory. And then obviously we just got to work out how we make these amps look cooler. We are going to be having a port on this. So I'm thinking of bringing the port down here somewhere, and we have the port sort of coming out down here. And obviously it's just a case of getting the amps. I'm thinking we do sort of like a triple wrap around so we get a nice flow through. Maybe picking up these lines here, for instance, so it sort of feels part of it. I've got to have a feel. You sort of get a gist for it as you go along and see what feels right and fits. Definitely want to cover up that bottom section there. So I imagine this build's probably going to come up to about here. So we're going to be losing about a foot of his boot space from that aspect of it. But obviously he's still got plenty of here, so that's not really too much of an issue. And then, yeah, basically just have some good fun with it. So I was going to take all this stuff out, guys. I'm just going to be disconnecting everything, and you'll see it all stripped through. Right, some very basic calculations on here in regards to what we're doing. But basically, about 40 hertz there, we need about a 10.5-inch port. 36 hertz, we need about a 15-inch port. 36 feels good for this sort of setup. We're going to need it about 2 cubic foot, but obviously we've also got to take into account the displacement of the port volume and obviously what the actual sub itself, the subwoofer displaces as regards to volume for that. So the port dimensions, we're going to keep it 12-inch wide, essentially, so it matches what the sub sits at the top. About 2 inches in height and about 15 will give me the required volume for what I need for that side of it. Like I said earlier, sort of thing, we're dealing with 400 watt RMS, and you could go lower than this, but you'd need more power handling to essentially get your decent SPO out of it. So I think about a 36-40 hertz will work perfect on that side of it. And I was just doing some sketches last night, just in a bit of spare time, as you can see, very basic sketches for the sort of design and feel of it. We can either have, say, 1 amp on show here and the rest hidden away and sort of do this sort of up and down box system. I quite like the idea of having the 2 subs. Now, those originally were going to be windows in to see the subs from the top, so you can see into the perspex side of it, but I don't know if it'll be nicer to have 3 amplifiers across there, the port coming out either below it, or in this one, ports coming out above it, sort of thing. But yeah, it feels like it's going to fit nicely in that sort of setup. I don't know, can you see what I'm going to do? So we'll have a nice arrangement in there. The red lighting will be obviously where the red bits indicate, so we'll side light all these to make them all glow nice. And yeah, not take it OTT. All right then, let's start getting that base piece in so we can start giving ourselves a flat surface to work from, and then from that we can build up for the height and down for the width, and obviously that will start giving us our volumes and things. So right, you'll see us in a sec. Okay, so we've got a bit more in there now. I know a lot of you would love me to show you the sizes and the cut lists and all the bits and pieces for the job. I've got a few emails about it in bits and pieces, and then once I've got all the pieces cut out, I'll lay them all down so you can see them all and things, and see if you can get a rough indication of that. But I'm not going to go through and mark off every single angle that I've cut through. There's some silly angles in this that you wouldn't realise. So the unit itself looks pretty square, but the actual design of it is to fit within the chair slope essentially, so that will continue that slope straight up on here, and obviously then I've just chamfered those top there so we get a nice flat bit to run off of that. Yeah, I'm still feeling what I'm feeling. I'd look at a few of the comments and bits and pieces. It's a case of I'm probably going to be slightly biased and go for my old man's one, and essentially he said angles and show off, or if you've got it, flaunt it. So I'm thinking like a double angle, so we bring subwoofer along here flat, probably slightly tapered just to give us that eye off the pressure of it just being sitting flat here, and then a double slope, so a 2-stage kick on that with the 8s. Let's have a look and see if we put one up there. I don't really want them just to follow that line. I think they would suit better if they were sort of more, let me just zoom the phone out a second. I think they would work better if it was sort of like more of an outward angle, as if the focal is sort of pointing up here. So one's coming out here, one's coming out here, and one's coming out here, just to spread the sound around a bit. I think that's what we'll do. Really annoyingly, guys, I think I'm going to be running a bit slower on this one, and that's purely down to the fact I'll flag up a picture of it now. But I was involved in a car crash last night in my van, and my beautiful green van has now got ripples and crumples and everything. I don't think it's too bad. The other person's fine. That's the main thing. No one got hurt. But yeah, my wrist is a little bit sore today and stuff. And obviously, yeah, got the seatbelt. So a few of the ribs are a bit achy. So I'm going to take a little bit more time on this, because obviously it's amazing when you need to build stuff, you need both your hands, obviously. But obviously, as you can see what's going on, so I'm really glad that I've taken this taper angle down just to sort of match through. It sort of follows more of what the boot lid, if not, it would be up to about there-ish, and I don't think I'd like it, to be honest. But yeah, so far going well. It is a bit of fun and games. There's loads of tiny little angles and bits and pieces to sort of work out, which is always fun, which is why I don't really want to do the cut sheet for it, because it's yeah, it's a lot of fiddling around with it. But right, I guess the next bit you'll see is I'm probably going to drop these off and maybe actually seal off this box, start cutting it out, do the 8 boxes, and yeah, you'll see the next bit in a little while. Like I say, at the moment it's going to be a slower process than I wanted, but we're getting there. How do you like them angles, Dad? Is that enough for you? No, all look in the part, to be fair. So we can see there that we've got 2 decent sized 8 chambers in that, and obviously same over there, and obviously get in there. So I think I'll cut those holes out so we can get a better impression what it will be like, and yeah, you'll see it with the holes out. Boy, we got a lot of angles to deal with. Right, let's get these holes cut in, and next stage forwards. Not gonna lie, guys, but I'm feeling that it's, yeah, it's kind of working out all proportionally great. Love the way the sub looks like it has got that little angle through. Obviously there'll be the large panel that runs all the way down here with the port down the bottom there, and obviously then we'll get the amplifiers all mounted across that, for instance. But yeah, regards to the sizes of things, much better. We're limited on anything now. We can see we've got loads of space inside that box, and obviously both the 8s drop in without any issue for that. So yeah, no, really happy with how it's gone out so far. Obviously, once you get it carpeted and all the other bits and pieces done, I think it will look absolutely phenomenal. So we shall see. I hope he likes it, because he won't see it until it's all done. And obviously this video will go up after I've finished it. So fingers crossed it's exactly what he's hoping for. But not bad for what we class as a freebie. Check out that beast, huh? I personally think that looks awesome. And to be honest, the way it goes in and just hugs down over that centre bit, perfect. But as you can see now, we've got a lovely chamber. So this is the piece obviously will come down. I've got the front of it there. That's the sort of panel that will go on, and the port will be down the lower section on here. And then we can start doing the cool stuff, because all of this stuff, to be honest, is purely just for the acoustics. But there will be other bits going with this to make it sort of finish it off. So anyway, right, let's get that port sorted. So obviously we're going to go 12-inch across, 2 inches. So far, so damn good. How big do we want the port, eh? Probably not that big, to be fair. But yeah, that's the bottom of it. And obviously there'll be another piece on here, and that's going to go through, and that's the back edge of the port. So all come out really nice. And we got our port finally. Probably see what's going on now. So obviously angle port come down there, and that run it through. I've got it at 15 at the moment, because to be honest, the calculation with that over there did work out to be about the same by the time I've taken into account the angles and stuff. Right, obviously we've got to do the obligatory testing. So boom, 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 boom. Yeah, definitely 40 hertz. So for those of you following on at home, you should have something that looks very similar to this. So it's not fully together yet, because now I have to take it all apart. See if we can see the port down there, lovely jubbly. And basically it's not glued together at the moment, so it's just a few screws. So I'm going to take it all apart. I'll lay all the pieces out on the floor so you can check to make sure you've got the right amount of parts as I have. And then we'll glue the whole thing together, and that'll be done. But yeah, we should be getting some beautiful bass from here and from here. So anyway, right, I'll lay it all out on the floor down here. Got the car out of the workshop at the moment. I'll lay it all out, and you can cross-reference what parts you've got. So I don't know if this is a tip or if people think it's a good idea. There's probably a million better ways to do it than this, but this is one of the ways that I found. I draw little shapes on all the joins, different things essentially to mark off different areas. But it means if I do drop all the pieces and they all fall everywhere, all I've got to do is match up the sort of shapes that are on it. You see double line here, one up there, got a little circle piece in the corner there to meet through. We've got 3. There will be better ways to do it. In theory, you could number them all and mark them down and put it together in a certain order and things like that. But this is more fun. The things you have to do for YouTube. Anyway, so that's basically all the parts that make it up. So there's only a few in there, not counted them yet, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 15, 16, 17, 18. And yeah, the 23 pieces, and it took 94 screws. So yeah, quite a few bits for a sub box, I guess. But hopefully, like I say, if you've been following at home, you should have something that looks the exact same as that. Right, let's get it all back together and glued up, and then we'll be ready to move on to the fun bit, which is now making it look beautiful, because at the moment it just looks like wood. So, right, see you in a sec. Shh, I've got a little helper with me. Let's be lucky. Let's go see what he's doing. Would you like to say something to 300 people? 300 subscribers, guy. I'm not being funny, but thank you. That's freaking awesome. I had 17 in April, so awesome, guys. Thank you. What are you doing down there?
Oh, I just got a car panel in a funny angle. It's all about funny angles.
On your tractor, JCB. Nothing but the best, innit?
For the rest.
Okay, guys. After a million more cuts, you can see what we've got going on now. So essentially, we're going to have the fans pushing in cold air into here. Main amplifier to drive the 12-inch over here, 1 amplifier that side, 1 amplifier around that corner, and obviously a lovely bass port on there. And on this side, that will be the little window for his little logo to be lit up at the front bit. So anyway, guys, yeah, a hell of a lot of work. It is late and we've been here a long time today, but I think you agree, guys, it's going to look phenomenal in the car, to be honest. I'm really happy with the way it is. So how's it all looking? I think that is going to look awesome. He's lost a fair bit of his boot space, granted, but to be honest, for this sort of car, there's enough room to do a little bit of shopping and whatnot down there. And then obviously these pieces left and right will just have some angles cut in with some windows, just so you can see those amps hiding behind there. So yeah, really happy with it. Obviously from the front, as you look over, still nice view over the top, and obviously running through, still a little bit of finishing to do and whatnot. But yeah, we are 90% sorted on the boxwork. And then obviously now we just got to carpet it and make it beautiful. So, right, I'm gonna stop talking and carry on working because I'm on a tight deadline with this one. Right guys, now this is the fun bit. For those of you that had the 23 pieces on the floor, yours should now look something similar to this. So, yeah, I hope you've been following along closely. Now, I hope you really like the design, guys. It's a funky one. It's a total big box that can come out. It can be removed from the vehicle, and it's just, I got someone trying to hide right now. We'll catch him. But you saw him earlier. It's Boo Boo, man. Or Leonard. I call him Boo Boo. But yeah, you can call him Leonard. Okay, sorry about the hiss in the background. It's a compressor for the staple gun. Just a little tip here, guys. I don't know if you guys are ever going to do this or not. So I 3D printed out a little Supra logo, obviously just so it matches through. And my mate was asking me, how am I going to get it to get into these sort of recesses? So what I will show you is basically line them up. And then if you are going to do this, just stretch the carpet slightly. It means then you've got the ability to get it right into those corners, because obviously you need that sharp edges to sort of, when you've got writing, to show. This isn't going to be easy, but essentially you'll see it afterwards. But no, I think it'll be a nice little touch. And obviously we've got the little window cut out there for his Sparky display piece there. So this panel should look awesome. I may give you a little sneaky peek at what we're at so far. As you can see, it's getting there. Still need to sort out a lot of the cabling stuff, but you can see what it's going for. I think this is going to look absolutely spot on. So, right, anyway, enough waffle. Let me get back to some trim work. And just like that, we've got a lovely custom panel. Right, let's get that window cut out. Right, another panel ready to go in. Lovely cut here by Leonard, just giving me a little gully just to run down there. And obviously just staples across, but low pressure on the gun, so obviously it doesn't actually pinch into the cable itself. And obviously then test it. It's a simple solution. Let's get that piece in place. Now we've got it looking good, let's get it sounding great. So I've got the laptop in the front, I'll go and get that sorted. And obviously we've got the cable running all the way through, and that goes through so we can EQ it from the front. Right, you'll see with the laptop open, and we'll start making this thing sound awesome. And for those of you who've never seen what a processor looks like, that's what we're looking at. So obviously we've got different speaker arrangements we can set over here, and obviously I can go through. So your bass, mid and treble would be like 3 of those, and I've got 32. That's just the bass scoping essentially, and obviously you can do separates for the front and the rear setups. So as you can see, we've got a slightly different EQ for each section of it. Obviously the nice thing is we can do all the filter work and everything else. So for those of you that haven't seen what a processor can do, that'll be it. Right guys, I'm happy to report that we are done. I'd love to say it was just 3 days, but honestly it was more. Ant knows truly how long it took. But you can't rush these things. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to show you it in a second, but I'm very, very happy with it. I'll bring up the sketch of what I did, the sort of the planning that I went through, and then afterwards you'll see what I've built. So sit down, enjoy this one. Right guys, you can remember what the sort of preliminary sketches I'd look at and what sort of feel I was going for, what vibe. I liked the idea of having these little triangular windows, because it matches very much with Rockford Fosgate. The black and the red seem to make sense out of all the colour scheme, because everything else has got on the vehicle. But anyway, let me just shut up for a second and show you exactly what I built in. Lie guys, but okay, it's biased because I built it, but I really like that. It just feels very proportional to the car. I love the way, to be honest, the little emblem here, in real life this is coming up a lot more red. Essentially it looks a bit white on there, but that's not a problem. We can see the little window cuts in for the lower amp sections there. Obviously we've got the cooling fans running down because this amp will get hot being so enclosed. That's why I've left quite a large cavity on the side just to give it a bit of air movement. But we have got some lovely cooling fans kicking that bit off. And obviously as we go around here, there's also another little surprise, which will be having his logo done up. But yeah guys, I think he's gonna absolutely love this. Considering what he had before, this is like chalk and cheese. This is what you'd get if you wanted to get a proper sound system in regards to sort of like show spec stuff, in my opinion. It fits all the bills, and obviously we've still got the sub bed in, so I can't drive 10 bells out of it yet. This is a sort of a new 12 we've got on here. We've got a lovely port, and I love the way the amp sits in front of the port with the cooling fans, and it sort of pulls everything down through there. Right, we're nowhere near full volume, but let's have a look at the baffle on it. And that's an easy listening volume on that, guys. You can see we've got a lovely bounce around happening. You won't tell from the audio from this phone recording what it's like, but you can see what's happening down there, guys. And like I say, this isn't exactly a bass heavy track or loud, so I'm really happy with that side of it. And EQ wise from inside, just shut the boot down. And in here, we're silky smooth. Very nice. And what's that? About half volume, guys, so you can't go wrong. Can't have too much music, sadly, guys, because copyright. I will have to get this sorted. I can't be a professional audio guy and not have music to play. To be honest, I've never looked and see what the copyright free music sounds like and if it's any good or not. But yeah, as you can see, rear view screen there, you can see everything that you need to, and that's my eye line. Really happy with it. I think he's going to love it, to be honest, guys. I don't think he knows he's getting another box, and I said I'm going to beat him something special, but I don't think he has a clue about what that actually is. So it's a case of, yeah, I've enjoyed it. It's been a lot of work. Thanks for the comments as well, guys. Obviously having a look through. Yeah, we have gone for the red and black. We have gone for the angles. I think we've done a little bit of everything. You probably saw from the sketch beforehand, we stuck slightly to what I sort of wanted to come out right. Acoustically, sounding perfect. Now, it isn't bedded in yet, so I can't tump all bells out of it. But once that gets bedded in, it slowly sort of deepens down, yeah, then we'll start seeing what lower frequencies it can hit. But I can tell already that we can hit some really nice low frequency with it. Right, customer will be here soon, so you'll see some more beautiful pictures now.